Let's take a look at our bracket now as we get set for the semifinals. Griff advances on. We'll take on Goof. But before we get to that matchup, we have our first semifinal matchup. It's Pineapple versus Resolve. And as you remember, Pineapple with essentially the biggest upset of this tournament over Gore Magala in the opening round. And Pineapple's Kid Cobra having a lot of success against that Helix. And it seems like that Kid Cobra really deployed that clapback and played a really strong defensive game where you never saw Gore Magala connect with a lot of rush attacks.
Yeah, and the clapback is going to be very important, I think, here against Resolve, as Resolve has already chosen the boomerang. The reason this is so important, he knows that the Tri-Bolt is not going to be able to penetrate past the clapback, so he doesn't even pick it. It looks like Pineapple was ready also, though, and he does not go with the clapback on his own. Instead, he has the Cracker and the boomerang.
You've got the Burchuck, of course, with Pineapple. There's a lot of nunchucks, and Arms doing a great job with all this here. Resolve, meanwhile, with the Chakram and the Toaster. And right now, pretty evenly matched right now. Both fighters not able to connect on a lot of hits, and that goes to show you how good they are defensively. That Burchuck, of course, is going to operate differently if Kid Cobra is in the air or on the ground, so keep note of that. Meanwhile, Resolve has the rush attack ready to go, has a slight health advantage over Pineapple, but then both of them have their rush attacks ready to go. Resolve connecting with that rush attack, and once again, those boomerang attributes are huge because they're able to go on the outside and get that first hit going on that rush attack.
Yeah, and you can see right here, Resolve trying to put his back to the wall, trying to be defensive, but unfortunately it does not pan out. 310 damage as Pineapple has Resolve. His back is to the wall, but Resolve fires back, and now he's in the perfect position to be able to take this with these permanently charged arms.
And you've got Pineapple down on the canvas with one more hit. We'll do it for whoever fighter can connect next right now. Pineapple and Kid Cobra missing with that Cracker, but the permanently charged arms of Resolve might be enough to tilt the scales in his favor at this point. Some chip damage from Pineapple. Resolve does have a rush attack ready to go. Do you deploy it, though? Here it comes, and yes. Now that's an example right there of where you realize how much health your opponent has and what advantage you have, and that was the fact that I got a rush attack, you ain't got one. What are you going to do about it?
Exactly, yeah. He didn't want to risk it because he knew that Pineapple was about to get a rush of his own. He just said, all right, let me use this. Let me get this game. I'm going to be at a disadvantage in the next one, but he needed that round.
Right. No game around is guaranteed, so if you've got a chance for victory, you have to take advantage of it. Meanwhile, Resolve doing a fine job of defending against Pineapple. Pineapple going back to that clapback and Cracker. Let's see how that combination will work. Meanwhile, Resolve does have that Chakram, as you said, that can go around that clapback shield.
Have to see how he does here. We're in the middle of Mausoleum right here. Really surprised that the stage hasn't broken yet. Of course, when the middle of the stage breaks, you do get that trampoline aspect in there, as the clapback is just right in Resolve's face, forcing him to reconsider about throwing out that Toaster.
Yeah, both fighters with a decent amount of health. However, Pineapple at about 90%, Resolve at 60%, 55 seconds left in this one, so it'll be interesting to see if you can get the KO before time expires. Pineapple doing a great job of just staying behind that clapback, but no! Pineapple able to cancel out Resolve's rush attack, and now Pineapple has a charged rush attack. Resolve doing a great job of defending there as well, too, doing something that Gore Magala couldn't do and avoid the rush attacks of Pineapple.
You can see him sort of taunting a little bit. I don't know if you saw that, but he was moving back and forth. But his arm was broken, and he was still able to get that rush out, and he didn't take much damage out of it. So I think Resolve is really feeling himself right now.
Very impressive, although Resolve's going to have to feel himself some more because he's down right now, 25% health, the Pineapple 60%, and there's not a whole lot of ticks on the clock left at this moment. Resolve does have that rush attack ready to go. Might be interesting whether or not you see him deploy it, knowing that I'm down in health, I've only got 8 seconds, I might not be able to make this comeback.
Yeah, I think he's going to hold on to it for the next round. He knows that he has a round off. He doesn't think that he can get all that damage off. I think he's going to hold on to it until the next game. But unfortunately, that puts Pineapple in a great spot because he's able to charge up his own, knowing that he's got the round on lock.
And Pineapple playing a fine defensive game right there. No switching arms. Winner of this round will take the first game in our first semifinal matchup right now. Resolve with that charge rush attack. That's going to connect, and that'll do some critical damage against Pineapple, who's trying to play a more patient game and wait out the clock. Pineapple now going to have to be a little bit more aggressive with 85 seconds left on the clock, but that rush attack will certainly help with that aggression. But once again, Resolve doing a fine job of avoiding those rush attacks.
Yeah, Springman is one of the best equipped characters at not getting hit by moves like that, and of course Resolve, just so defensive in his own right, is able to deflect those out. There's no problem, and it honestly puts Pineapple in a very bad spot because that trampoline is in the middle, so Resolve is able to chase him down, sort of circle around him, and Pineapple has to use that trampoline to get out.
Yeah, see the circle scraping from Resolve right now as Pineapple sort of just bounces around in the middle. Pineapple underneath 50% health, Resolve with the health advantage at this point. However, 50 seconds left, plenty of time as Resolve gets that rush attack ready to go. And what you're seeing is Resolve using the trampoline to get the height advantage, maybe deploy that rush attack, but no. Now it's pretty even at this point, 40 seconds. That's a critical hit for Pineapple because now Pineapple has a health advantage. You've got double charge arms for Resolve. Rush attack ready to go for both fighters. Who's going to deploy it in this deciding round to snag the first game? Pineapple bouncing around in the middle, trying to find his spots. Oh, double rush attack, but Resolve and Springman able to get it. 20 seconds left. Pineapple's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive right here. Resolve taking the hit from that Cracker. That Cracker once again coming out to try to get Resolve. Resolve connects with that charge left toaster, and that might be enough to do it. 6 seconds left. Looking for one more hit, but no! Pineapple connects with the Cracker. 2 seconds left, and Pineapple, this is why you don't quit, kids. This is why you don't quit. You hang on and you persevere, you can get a victory just like that.
That was crazy. I thought that one was unlocked. I thought it was over. I thought Resolve had it. I think that was kind of misplayed by Resolve. He didn't have to throw punches. You didn't have to do anything like that. You had such a life lead, and he just still threw him out trying to get that final hit. It was too honorable. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that was going to be my question to you, because you see that there's about 5 or 6 seconds left. You have the health advantage. What can you do as a player to not make yourself vulnerable to anything? And you kind of saw Resolve continue to be aggressive at that moment.
Really, you just had to block. I mean, if you throw out that block and punch away any grab attempts, if there are only a few seconds left, there's not much that Pineapple could have done, but Resolve, I think, just got caught up, unfortunately, in the moment as we start out on Spring Stadium, as this stage is going to be a lot closer and a lot more, CQC in terms of the fighting.
No changes in gear for either fighter. Pineapple continues to go with that clapback and Cracker. Meanwhile, Resolve going to go with that left toaster and right chakram right now, as Resolve and Springman in his home stage trying to lock down the home turf and do it for the land. Meanwhile, Pineapple connecting with the throw right there. And don't forget, Kid Cobra and Pineapple has a pretty powerful throw at 175.
Yeah, one of the stronger throws in the game. Most throws are normalized around 150. You've got some, outliers like Master Mummy at 200. But yeah, 175 coming out from Kid Cobra, so he's going to be looking for those more often as Resolve does land the rush. He isn't able to get the critical last hit, and the reason that's important is if you can land that, usually the opponent will bounce off of the springs on the side, which gets you an extra 20 damage.
Very good point. Meanwhile, Resolve able to counter that throw, but here comes the rush attack from Pineapple, and once again, Resolve doing a great job of defending against Pineapple's rush attacks. Pineapple trying to throw out that clapback and connect with that Cracker. Early health lead once again for Resolve. Can Resolve close the door this time? Yes, that left toaster going to go ahead and smack Kid Cobra in the face, send him to the canvas, and Resolve takes the first round in this second game in our first semifinal matchup. Did you follow me there? Are you with me there? All right, we're good. Here we go. Second round action right now. No change in arms once again, and it seems like both these fighters feel very comfortable about their play style and their current selection.
Yeah, I think that Resolve is much more comfortable with how he's playing right now. I think he's got a good groove going. He is going to get that rush right there at 350 damage plus the 20.
Wow, that's what you're talking about right there. That final critical hit of that rush attack sends Kid Cobra off the springs. We're able to connect with one more hit for 20 more damage, and that's going to give Resolve a huge advantage in the second round right now. Pineapple under 50% health. Resolve still at about 85% health as we have 65 seconds left. Kid Cobra going to have to play a little bit more aggressive despite the defensive arm of the clapback, but Resolve able to get around that shield, bobbing and weaving, and also using that chakram for some inside-out punches as well, too.
Yeah, and you can see Resolve was really doing great at the start of this, but Pineapple has started to swing it back. He does have the rush. He's going to let it rip. Resolve going to be content to just kind of sit back in the corner, not take any damage, as Pineapple backs off on himself because he knows that the rush is coming. That's going to be 320 damage plus the 20. Now, an interesting thing is you can't fall to that. You can't get knocked out by that final hit.
Can't KO by that final hit. That means it's just one little tickle that's going to send Pineapple to the canvas at this point. But Resolve trying to hang in there. Got those permanently charged arms. That might be enough. But can Pineapple have an unbelievable comeback? But no. Resolve connects with that right charged chakram to make it 1-1 in our games as he takes the second round.
Yeah, just barely enough on that one. Pineapple, again, he looked so comfortable. He looked like he knew what was up. But unfortunately, Resolve was able to steal his defenses and was able to make it happen.
And that's what you saw from Resolve, the fact that both these fighters are so comfortable in their play styles. They aren't taking some major change if they lose a match and have a reactionatory response as far as, okay, I need to change my arms. I lost. I'm going to stick with what's been working with me. You see them going with the same characters. Will they go with the same arms once again? And hey, let's just rinse and repeat this and do this on Ribbon Girl stage now.
Yeah, I think that these guys know what got them to the dance. They're using this one all the way through. I don't know if we're going to see any crazy arms changes on this one. maybe because of the stage difference here, but I think that Resolve is just so comfortable with that Chakram. I don't think he's going to switch back to the Tri-Bolt just because of that clapback. It's just going to create too much pressure for him.
Resolve going with that Chakram in the right, the Toaster in the left. Meanwhile, Pineapple and Kid Cobra, just for those of you keeping your bookkeeping at this point, going with that clapback and that cracker in that right-hand side. 73 seconds left. Pineapple with about 60% health. Resolve at about 60% health. So you have a fairly even match. Neither fighter's got that rush attack engaged at the moment.
So right now on Ribbon Ring, these guys creating some distance. Resolve finally gets that rush as Pineapple's building up on his own. Resolve is just going to let him have it, knows that he can't force the issue. So he's just sort of sitting back, letting that clapback come out and trying to play around it.
Resolve and Pineapple each have a rush attack ready to go. It's just a matter of finding that opening to go in there and steal the cheese. And Resolve going to be the first one to take a bite, 310 damage. However, going to have to be defensive now as Pineapple. And this has been the difference for Resolve. The ability to defend against the rush attacks has helped Resolve last this long. Meanwhile, Kid Cobra and Pineapple are going to have to be very aggressive with 30 seconds left. Resolve just sort of keeping Kid Cobra at bay, using that Chakram to go around that clapback. Nice connection right there. It's going to go ahead and knock Kid Cobra to the canvas. Left Toaster going to miss. Right Chakram going to miss. Goes through the punch. Right Cracker going to go ahead and cause a little bit of damage, but Resolve with that left Toaster and retains the rush attack.
Yeah, so many fists flying there. Wasn't sure who was going to land the hit, who was going to make something happen, but that charged Toaster doing 130 damage plus the hard knockdown is just so viscerally powerful that he was able to get through that.
And that's when it's so fun to call this game, is when you've got those flurry of punches going back and forth. As Resolve, once again, connecting with the rush attack. And this is the theme we're seeing. Defend against the rush attack, connect with yours, and that's going to make the difference when you have two fighters that are so evenly matched.
Right now, Resolve sort of playing back a little bit, trying to find his right punches. Meanwhile, Pineapple having the rush. He's trying to force Resolve into the corner just so he can let it rip before Resolve gets a rush of his own, and he lets it happen. That's going to be a whole 320 damage off that.
Pineapple connecting with a rare rush attack against Resolve. You got to take those chances when you get them. Resolve missing with that left throw, but is able to counter the throw attempt from Pineapple. Pineapple at a distance right now, has the health disadvantage with 54 seconds left. Resolve, if Resolve can take this round, it'll be the second game in this best-of-5 semifinal as we look for someone to be our first finalist. Resolve with that rush attack, that's going to do 310 damage, and that's going to leave Pineapple to just a few punches away from defeat. Resolve really playing this game masterfully as he's keeping Kid Cobra and Pineapple exactly where he wants to keep them at.
Yeah, definitely. He needs that charged Toaster punch. That's really all he's going to need to put this one away. Pineapple, the impetus is on him to sort of be aggressive. He doesn't get that cracker hit, which does 130 damage as well. Does so much, but there it is, the charged Toaster, and Resolve will take the third game. It is currently 2-1. Resolve is only one game away from going to the finals.
As you mentioned, that charged Toaster, go ahead and pop it up, put some jam on that victory right now for Springman, because that's what we saw as far as the closer in the last couple of games for Springman was the ability of Resolve to connect with that. And it's almost like he's taking Kid Cobra and Pineapple out of his game, forcing Kid Cobra and Pineapple to play a little bit more offensive when you do have that clapback, which is more of a defensive arm.
Yeah, I think Pineapple's going to have to adjust, maybe try out different arms combinations. This clapback is clearly not working. I think that its usage was good earlier, but here, yep, as you can see right there, he's going to swap over to the Bird Chuck on that. We called it. We called it. Well done.
You got the Bird Chuck. Very nicely done. That's why we're here, folks. We go ahead and just predict the future for you. Sorry, I can't help you with your stocks, though. Pineapple right now going with that Bird Chuck and Cracker. Can't connect on Resolve right there. Resolve has the early advantage in this one. Actually, both fighters pretty equal as we look at it. That Cracker going to miss right there. Pineapple going to be a lot more aggressive offensively, you figure, using that Bird Chuck instead of the clapback.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to be. Resolve's defense has just been so strong. I think Pineapple's going to have to find a way to break through it. Hopefully with that Bird Chuck, he's able to find an answer as he blocks through that. But Resolve does have the rush. He's going to let it go. Unfortunately, Pineapple's not going to take any of it. He makes maybe 20, 30 damage, but that's nothing as he has a rush of his own.
Finally defended right there by Kid Cobra. And nice throw that's going to bounce Springman across the stage. That 170 damage, very critical.
So one thing that I want to talk about is the fact that Kid Cobra's throw is not conducive to the stage. So a lot of people, you can get the Yabuki, right? You can knock somebody into the springs, but unfortunately, Kid Cobra knocks you straight down. He says, I don't even need that. So you can't knock somebody into the rush. That's going to be something very important to see as Resolve has a rush of his own right now.
Resolve with those permanently charged arms just needs to connect with one more to go ahead and take this round. However, Kid Cobra and Pineapple, and it's going to be the rush attack from Resolve. And yet again, another option where I've got my rush attack. I can either hang on to this and maybe use it for the next round for advantage, but I've got this round in front of me. Let me use it while my opponent doesn't have it.
Yeah, and I think he wanted to let it go because the Cracker does so much damage. When its charge does 130, and he knew that if he took that hit, it might have been the end for him. So I think that was a really smart usage on his part.
Resolve 1 round away from advancing to the finals of our ARMS US and Canada Online Open Finals. Pineapple, however, trying to even things up and get us to a 5th and final game in this matchup. Right now, Pineapple keeping its distance. Resolve with the slight health lead, and that's going to help right there. The Yubuki, as we mentioned right there, throwing him off the springs, getting the hit. But how about that? The jump into the rush attack that's going to go ahead and send Springman off the springs and do that extra 20 damage for Pineapple.
Yeah, and Resolve getting an answer of his own. He's not able to get the throw into it, but he is going to get the punches into the 310 plus the 20, 330 damage. Pineapple is in dire straits. He's at less than 25% health as Resolve inches his way closer and closer to finals.
Resolve just needs a couple more punches to connect. Will that Toaster take him to the finals, or will it be the Chakram that connects? Meanwhile, Pineapple trying to stay alive. Resolve just needs one more hit to get to the finals here. Is it going to do it? And once again, that left Toaster connects. Resolve says, no thanks, no pineapple on my pizza. I'm going to go ahead and take a bite out of the finals here.
Guy's got a crazy left hook, as you can see from that charge Toaster, 130 damage. We saw it close out so many games. Pineapple just was not ready for it as Resolve burns his path right to the finals.
And you saw Pineapple change arms because he wasn't having success with that clapback, being on the wrong end of the health advantage and having to play a little bit more offensive with that clapback. Decides to go with the Birdchuck. However, you look at what we were able to see from Springman, from Resolve, and able to just stay consistently applying that pressure and also avoiding a lot of the rush attacks that Pineapple used to get victory in the opening round.
Yeah, it looked like Pineapple in the early rounds really had an answer for it. It looked like he was doing great, but unfortunately, Resolve just was able to steal his defenses, was able to answer back, landed more rushes, and I think that's what it really came down to.
Let's take a look at our bracket as we have our first finalist. Resolve makes his way to the finals. He'll be taking on the winner of Goof and Griff. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get you set for our second and final semifinal matchup of this ARMS US and Canada Online Open Finals, as Goof will be taking on Griffin. You know, really, once again, going back to some of the strategy we're seeing, these fighters are so evenly matched up. It's coming down to those little things like avoiding rush attacks, getting your rush attacks to connect. We're not seeing a lot of changes in ARMS as well, too. And so you look at these semifinal matchups, what do you think is going to be the key for some of these fighters?
Really, I think it's going to come down to character choice, as we see Mechanica coming out from Goof right here. If you remember, Goof actually used Dr. Coil earlier, so I was expecting to see 2 Dr. Coils, but Goof, his bread and butter is Mechanica initially, so he's going to have better perspective on how to deal with this Dr. Coil.
Which is interesting because Griff defeated a Mechanica to get to the semifinals as well, too. So Griff already with a little bit of a warm-up against high-level Mechanica players, but Mechanica right now going to go ahead and just keep her space with that Bub, and also going in the right hand, in the left hand, going to go with that Tri-Blast. For Griff, well, you know what worked before. You've got that combination of the Bub and the Scully, so going head-to-head with a couple of heavy arms as well, too. And here comes the rush attack from Goof. That's going to connect and do some major damage on Griff.
Yeah, and if you saw in the middle of that, Griff actually had the chance to stuff that rush and to get it out of there, but because Mechanica is able to just kind of sit there and not flinch on punches, Griff was not able to get out of that. Looks like he's doing okay, though. He still has so much health left. Meanwhile, Goof is going to have to fight back super hard to make this happen.
43 seconds left, and you've got Goof that's just one hit away, and that'll do it right there, as Griff and Dr. Coil going to go ahead and dispose of Mechanica in that first round. And you've got right now Griff with the first round victory. Needs to get one more round to take the first game in the semifinal matchup. Mechanica, no arm changes right there. Going to go ahead and stick with that Bub, and then also with that Tri-Blast in left arm. And both fighters with the rush attack ready to go. But here goes Mechanica, able to not get affected by that uncharged arm and able to power through with her rush attack.
Yeah, and that's why Mechanica has such a place at high-level play, because she's able to force you to kind of rewire your brain and how you're going to fight these characters, because it's not like you could just, knock out her punch and stuff her. She's going to always be able to take those hits, not flinch, and just be just fine.
And it's interesting because with Mechanica, you get the attributes of a heavyweight character that's not going to flinch, but then also the mobility with that hovering. So it is a nice little 1-2 combo, as Mechanica, with her second rush attack of the same round, not able to connect right there, as Dr. Coil really kind of took the best initial punch of Goof and able to stay pretty much even in this match so far. You've got 45 seconds left. Here comes Dr. Coil and Griff with that charge rush attack, though, and that's going to send Goof to the canvas. Health advantage for Griff with 38 seconds left here.
So much damage out of that rush. Just the fact that Griff was able to connect his, meanwhile Goof was not. Goof with his third rush getting so much meter, but unfortunately it's just not enough. Nothing's happening.
Doesn't do you a whole lot of good if you're pouring a whole lot of water and you're missing the glass here, folks. And then you've got Griff. That's down to about 25% health. Goof with about 15%. Goof misses with that throw. Griff able to power through. Griff connecting with that charged Scully. That's going to tick away some damage. It's going to take just one more little poke from Griff. Can Griff get it? This rush attack will certainly do it. And there we go. Yet another example of I've got my rush attack. I've got a decent lead. However, I've got my opponent on the ropes. Let me just finish this thing and guarantee the round.
Yeah, and really, he had no reason not to. He already had a round, and if you noticed, Goof actually almost had a rush of his own. He was getting so close, and Griff was like, no. I'm not going to let you have that. We're closing this one out, and he takes that first game.
Yeah, put on the brakes here, playa. And so you get the first game victory right there going to Griff. Griff needs to get 2 more games to advance to our second and final spot in the finals, and it'll be interesting to see if you see Goof go back with that Mechanica or if Goof changes things up as well, too.
I mean, if we see double Dr. Coil, which it looks like we are, this is going to be so interesting how these guys are going to levitate around each other. What arms are they going to pick? We see the Scully and the Bub come, or I'm sorry, is that the Bub? I'm trying to look at it.
You're looking. You got a Tri-Bolt. You got the Bub as well
okay,
too, and these characters are moving so quickly as well too. And both characters levitating. That means less work for the janitor. Won't have to bring that mop in after this one. But you got 80 seconds left early on in this one. Goof is your Dr. Coil on the right. Griff is your Dr. Coil on the left. So try to keep sorts of that right there. Goof with that rush attack ready to go, and Goof missing with that is Dr. Coil doing a great job of avoiding that rush attack, taking very little chip damage. Meanwhile, Griff with that Bub and also going to stick with that Scully that kind of just pokes away at you. Goof, meanwhile, that Toaster and Tri-Blast trying to just make some quick work of Griff. Griff with that charge rush attack, that's going to go ahead and get deployed, but Goof once again avoiding the damage.
Yeah, I think that really that Tri-Blast is going to serve Goof well on this stage. Well, actually, now that I think about it, maybe not, because my thought was he can knock out the blocks from Ribbon Ring with that horizontal arm, but it looks like both these guys are just floating above the city anyway, so that's not really too much of a concern for them.
And you have the horizontal plane that the Tri-Blast covers, but however, it seems like Griff is doing a great job of avoiding left and right and not having to take that much damage. As you see right there, that third arm does create a lot more coverage if you do get that third arm to charge to be a Tri-Blast.
Definitely. Griff has the rush on deck. Goof trying to build one of his own, but he has to be very careful. Both rushes are online. Goof is just going to kind of sit on his, try to force Griff to use his own. He gets the grab, but it's still not enough.
Can Griff connect with the rush attack and get the damage here before the match is over? However, no. Griff is just going to have to sit back and lose this one to time as Goof is able to outlast Griff with just a little bit more health as both the doctors go back to their corners, reconsider their options, and get set here. Let's see if Griff is going to change things up. And yes, Griff going to go with that Bub in the right and the Chakram in the left. Going to try and go around the outside of what Goof's doing, and Goof sticking with that Tri-Blast and Toaster as always.
Yeah, very unfortunate, was not able to land that rush right there. Goof having about half of a rush of his own, so he's going to be able to be in a very comfortable position here as Griff, really, he's got to close this distance and force something.
You've got Goof right now with that charged rush attack ready to go. Griff, meanwhile, trying to get some hits on the outside with that Chakram, gets knocked down to the floor, and Goof with the early health lead and the rush attack ready to go. But Griff trying to charge that meter as well, too. Goof just picking and choosing his spots right now at this point. Misses with the throw, but there comes that rush attack. That's not going to do much damage at all, only 15, and that's nothing in this game here. Meanwhile, Griff has a charged rush attack, just looking for the right chance to deploy it, and here it comes, and yes, connecting with that Chakram and the Bub. That's going to do 305 damage.
Yeah, that was just what he needed, being able to land the rush while blocking one of his own. I think this game is going to come down to the final rush, as Goof is very close to having his own. Griff has got to charge up something on his end. Goof does have the round advantage, so Goof he has all the chips on his table. He's going to let it go right away just to make sure Griff can't get one of his own, but unfortunately it does not connect.
Goof misses. Griff now with the health advantage, and Griff, mind you, has the one-game lead, and Goof can get this round. Goof will go ahead and tie things up in the match, but now Goof has the health advantage. 16 seconds left. Griff trying to avoid getting KO'd and losing a game to Goof. Goof trying to even things up. Goof misses with the 1-2. Griff dodging around those blocks right now. Griff needs to figure out a solution here quickly. Misses with the throw. Goof has the rush attack ready to go, and that's what we talked about, trying to use it. Doesn't connect, but doesn't need to, because Goof, with the health advantage over the Griff, takes that second round and takes the game.
Yeah, like you said, he just didn't need to hit anything else. He had a health advantage. He just let the rush go because, hey, if I hit something, I win. If I don't hit anything, I still win. So that's all he had to do. Awesome stuff by Goof as we go to 1-1 in this game. And I think the Dr. Coil choice was really what won him that one.
I think so, too. What was interesting is Goof misses with the rush attack. Griff has an opening, but doesn't have a rush attack of his own. If he did have one, probably could have turned the tables right there.
Yeah, definitely. And you could see him. He tried to get in a grab because a grab is going to do the most damage that you can do in that situation. So he tried to throw it out, but unfortunately got stuffed by one of the rush punches as we end up on DNA Lab for this next game. Very big stage here.
Double bubs here for Griff. Meanwhile, you've got Goof that's going to go with that Tri-Blast and that Toaster yet again. Led Goof to victory in that second match. Let's go ahead and give it another shot here. You've got those DNA tubes. You're going to have to use those to your advantage defensively, and that's what these fighters are doing early on.
And you can see these guys, no pretenses in terms of trying to break the tubes, trying to play more defensive. No, these guys are out in the open, straight ahead. Looks like Goof is going to take a second back in the corner, try to collect himself as Griff is dancing around these tubes now, finally making use of them.
Both fighters with a charged rush attack ready to go. It's going to be Goof that unleashes the first one. Doesn't connect, though, as Griff laughs that one off. Griff right now with the health disadvantage as Goof has about 75%, Griff at 50%, but Griff does have that rush meter ready to go and punches through the DNA glass and doesn't mind making a mess as he does 320 damage on Goof. Goof still with the slight lead, 44 seconds left in this one. Not able to connect with that charged punch right there, missing with those charges as well too, but here comes Goof. Goof trying to throw that Toaster and that Tri-Blast, not able to connect, but gets that rush attack ready to go. It's going to be a timely rush attack if Goof wants to take this round. However, Griff does a great job of blocking that in the corner, and now Griff, here's his opportunity to turn the tables with his own rush attack.
Yeah, Griff has just got all the opportunities in his pocket right now. He has the rush, but I think he's going to sit on it because he knows that all he needs to do is land one more punch. The problem is that any time that he isn't getting this punch, Goof is building up rush of his own. So I don't think he's too worried about it. Yeah, we got 5 seconds left.
4 seconds left. Can Griff either get a punch, and that'll do it right there. Just that poke from the bub is going to be enough to get the damage done, and that's going to go ahead and drop Dr. Coil, a.k.a. Goof, to the ground, and Griff now has that full rush meter ready to go in the second round.
So right now he's got the rush. Goof trying to build up one of his own. He's going to let it go right away, but unfortunately gets knocked out of it, only gets 30 damage out of that rush. Meanwhile, Goof has got one of his own, and you can see Griff immediately fall back and try to bait something out.
As we mentioned, it's the roasters for Griff, I should say. A Griff with the double roasters right now, and that's going to create some more damage for him. Goof, meanwhile, with that Toaster and that Tri-Blast on the left arm, creating some damage right now, missing right there. So both fighters doing a great job of dodging. However, Griff with a couple key connections at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And those roasters so strong, doing 140 damage when charged. As you can see right there, that's almost 15% of your life for each hit. And it forces a knockdown, which puts your opponent in a very bad position.
Griff with the rush attack deployed. However, Goof is going to go invisible and dodge part of that. 50 seconds left. 1-1 on the games in this round. Meanwhile, Griff, if he can get this round, that'll take a second pivotal game. Griff does have the advantage right now, but Goof connects with the rush attack, and that'll even things out here with 36 seconds left. Griff trying to do all that he can to hang on, knocks Goof back, though. That's a critical charge connection right there. You see the third arm coming out, and another charge connection on Goof. Griff needs just a couple more hits, and that'll do it. That charged roaster, as we said, 140 damage. Going to go ahead and take the second round and the second game in this matchup as we get set to try and find a finalist here soon.
And you know, we were talking about Resolve earlier with his charged toaster and how much damage that does and how strong it was, but the charged roaster just equally as strong, actually a little bit stronger, but you could see Griff using it there to great effect against Goof, who's going to have to recollect himself and try to figure something else out. It did look like the character swap helped him out in that second game, but he's got to figure something else out now for this potentially last one.
It really does, because it just seems like Griff is able to connect with a couple more charged punches, and as we said, that roaster was doing 140 damage. It worked so well last time. Griff not going to change things up. Double roasters once again. Now, Goof going to maybe copy suit and go with a roaster on his own in the right arm, and then a Tri-Blast in the left. So slight variance right there.
Yeah, I definitely could see him switching up the arm, maybe seeing something that Griff is doing that he wants to copy a little bit, but he's sticking to that tried and true Tri-Blast that got him here. He loves using that. He likes the shield pressure that it puts up, forcing the opponent to block for an extra second. As he lets this rush go, he's going to get a full combo out of that, 300 damage.
Griff the early deficit to Goof as Goof is able to connect with that critical rush attack right now. But here comes Griff, got a rush attack of his own to go, 63 seconds left. Nice connection with that charged roaster, going to do 140 damage, but Griff able to not connect with that rush attack. Goof does a fine job of defending that. Both fighters are roughly 50% health at this point. However, another charged roaster going to help deplete that. You've got Goof really keeping his distance right now. Gets hit though. Goof with the health advantage. 43 seconds left. Goof just kind of keeping his space and really doing a good job of keeping Griff at bay. That charged rush attack not going to help at all as you see, disabling one of the arms, and that is critical, but not able to take advantage of it.
The fact that Griff was able to fight out of that is excellent. This guy is a top player. You can see his arm broke. Not only did he break the grab, he broke the second grab and got 100 damage off the punch.
Critical 130 damage, though, by Goof, and then Griff able to get the 140 on Goof right there. It's going to come down to one more punch if he can connect with Goof. But no, the rush attack blows through the Tri-Blast, and Griff with a well-timed rush attack able to blow through the offenses of Goof and take this critical round, as Griff just needs one more round to advance to the finals to take on Resolve.
He played that perfectly, playing around his rush, making sure that his win condition was known. He just did it absolutely perfectly. Griff has earned that last round and potentially earned himself a spot in the finals.
Goof with a fully charged rush meter ready to go and deployed any moment. Right now, though, Griff just keeping his distance. No, unable to block, and Goof able to connect for 310 damage as both fighters are going with double roasters at this point. Goof deciding to not go with that Tri-Blast, and now at this point it essentially comes down to the skill of each player because everything's even.
Yeah, both these guys just throwing haymakers on this one. Huge arms coming out, 140 damage on the charge, 100 on the uncharged. As you guys see, they're just throwing out a billion punches. Griff has the rush on deck, but Goof is going to knock him down before he can use it.
You're absolutely right, a billion. I tallied every single one. Meanwhile, Griff connecting with the rush attack right there that's going to give him the advantage. Griff just a few connections away from moving to the finals. Goof, meanwhile, trying to stay alive. Needs to really play sharp the final 40 seconds. Can't afford to make many more mistakes. And Goof, that'll certainly help connecting with that rush attack for 330 damage. Can Griff close this out? Oh, that nice little 1-2 for 150 damage. Goof and Griff coming down the last couple of slugs here, and it's going to be Griff with that charged roaster sending Goof to the floor and advancing to the finals, as we're going to have Dr. Coyle taking on most likely Springman as Resolve versus Griff.
Griff played that so well. If you notice there at the end, he just really had Goof's number. Every time that Goof tried to dodge to the left or evade to the right, the charged roaster was there to meet him every single time for 140 damage. That's just raw power you can't match.
It really is, and it came down to a couple of those charged connections because both of these fighters were so close in their health, and really it came down to who's going to be able to land that last hit towards the end of the match. And at that point, you're really struggling to figure out, okay, do I play defensive? Do I have to play offensive? Because there's not that much of a difference in health where you can just sit back and turtle the whole time.
Exactly.
However, if you are aggressive, you open yourself up.
Yeah, it totally changes your playstyle, puts you in a very uncomfortable position, especially with the rush differentials, where if your opponent has, 75% of a rush and you have maybe 10, you got to go on the offense, try to force something to happen, and Griff just played right into that.